The flickering emergency lights cast long, dancing shadows across Commander Valur's command bridge, painting the chrome bulkheads in sickly greens and intermittent reds. Alarms, a persistent, mournful wail, pulsed through the deck plating, a stark counterpoint to the rapid-fire commands barked by the bridge crew. Outside the viewports, the starfield was a swirling chaos of streaking energy bolts and blossoming explosions. The Vigilant Asterisk, pride of the Cathur Defense Fleet, was dying. Report. Vilder's voice, usually a calm baritone, was a ragged rasp. His six oculars, usually a vibrant cerulean, were dim with despair. Fixed on the main display where the encroaching Hylos swarm showed no signs of evading. They were losing. Terribly. Tactical Officer Rika, a younger Cathar with still gleaming carapaces, slammed a chitinous fist onto his console. Forward shields at 11%, Commander. Aft, 7. They're focusing fire on the main thrusters. A shudder ran through the bridge, throwing crew members against their stations. Sparks rained from a damaged conduit overhead. The Vigilant Asterisk listed sharply, the artificial gravity struggling to compensate. Status of the civilian transports. Villar demanded, his gaze sweeping the frantic faces around him. Every Cathar on this bridge knew the stakes. Their entire system, their people, were behind those dwindling shield layers. Most of them are through the jump gate, Commander, replied Communications Officer Enther, his tendrils twitching with anxiety. But the Refugee Asterisk. She's taking heavy fire. Her FTL drive is damaged. She can't make the jump. Valur's mandibles clenched. The Refugee Asterisk carried thousands, mostly young, mostly unblooded. A generation. Sacrificing the Vigilant Asterisk to buy them mere minutes of reprieve was a hollow victory if they perished anyway. He looked at the main display, at the red-glowing Azylos cruisers, their chitinous hulls reflecting the fire of battle. There were too many. Always too many. Can we send a final distress call? Urka asked, his voice barely a whisper. To the others. The unspoken word hung heavy in the air. Humans asterisk. The Deathworlders. A species so brutally efficient, so utterly unpredictable, they were largely shunned by the galactic community. Their reputation was built on tales of impossible resilience and terrifying ingenuity. They were the galaxy's last resort and its greatest fear. Villar hesitated. To call them was to invite chaos, to unleash a force that might save them or consume them all. But what choice did they have? His people were dying. Enther, Villar said, his voice regaining a steely resolve. Initiate the emergency protocol. Broadcast our quadrant, our desperation. Target the human sector. Use every frequency, every known identifier. Enther's tendrils snapped to attention. Commander. Are you certain? The High Council. They forbid direct contact unless under existential threat. Existential threat? Look around you, Enther. Villar gestured wildly at the sparking consoles, the panicked faces, the doom unfolding outside. We are the existential threat. This is our last prayer. Let's see if the Deathworlders answer. The ship groaned, a sound of tearing metal. Another explosion rocked them, this one closer, more devastating. The main viewscreen flickered, showing the silos closing in. They were moments from being overrun. Broadcasted, Enther. Villar roared, his voice cutting through the din. To the last breath, to the last spark of hope. Let them know the Cathar are falling. Enther nodded, his oculars wide with grim determination. His digits danced across the console, initiating the forbidden sequence. A wave of energy surged through the comms array, a desperate plea hurled into the vast, uncaring void. A message to the one species the galaxy both feared and, in their darkest hour, perhaps, depended on. A low, guttural growl rumbled deep within the ironclad's bridge, a sound that vibrated through the very deck plating. It wasn't a structural groan. It was Captain Eva Rostova. Her eyes, a startling pale blue even in the dim emergency lighting, were narrowed on the distress beacon flaring on the main tactical display. It pulsed with frantic urgency, a fading light in the vast, cold expanse of space. "Cthair," Commander Valerius Thorne stated, his voice a calm counterpoint to Eva's barely contained fury. He stood beside her, his arms crossed, an unreadable expression on his face. "Broadcasting on every known frequency, including those we've officially lost access to. Standard existential threat signature." Eva scoffed, a short, sharp burst of air. "Existential threat? They're practically begging for a mercy kill. The Xylos Valerius." Again. Her knuckles were white where she gripped the command chair's armrests. How many times do they have to scream for help before they learn to defend themselves? Their biology isn't suited for sustained combat like ours. Valerius reminded her, his tone even. They're builders, philosophers, not warriors. And we're supposed to be their glorified babysitters. Eva's gaze swept over the bridge crew, a mix of grim-faced veterans and determined younger officers. Each one held the same unyielding focus. The ironclad asterisk was a warship, designed for one purpose, to fight. Tactical Officer Jensen, a lean woman with closely cropped hair, interrupted. "Captain, the distress signal details. They're protecting a refugee transport, the refugee asterisk. FTL drive damaged, taking direct hits. Estimated time to complete destruction. Minutes." Eva's jaw tightened. She hated civilian casualties, hated the helplessness they represented. It was a weakness she refused to acknowledge in herself, a vulnerability she buried beneath layers of hardened resolve. "And the Cthair Defense Fleet?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Decimated, Captain," Jensen reported, her voice laced with a grim finality. "The Vigilant asterisk, their flagship, is taking the brunt of the assault. They're holding the line, barely, to allow the refugee asterisk a chance to make a jump they can't make." A muscle twitched in Eva's cheek. The Cthair were doing the human thing in their own way, sacrificing themselves for the weak, for the next generation. It was a brutal, beautiful irony. "The Xylos tendrils are reaching too far, Valerius," Eva finally said, her voice dropping to a low growl. "This isn't just a Cthair problem anymore. This is a galactic plague, and someone has to cleanse it." Valerius met her gaze, a flicker of something akin to grim satisfaction in his own eyes. "The High Council will protest, Captain, violating the non-interference treaty." The treaty ended the moment that Xylos crossed the Cthair border for the 10th time this cycle. Eva cut him off, her voice sharp as razor wire. "And the moment the Cthair High Council decided to cling to neutrality instead of defending their own people. We didn't sign up for neutrality, Commander. We signed up to protect humanity's interests. And humanity's interest is not letting these parasitic horrors infest every quadrant of known space." She pushed herself up from the command chair, her uniform crackling with static energy. She walked to the main viewport, staring out at the distant, desperate pulse of the Cthair beacon. "Set a course, Jensen," Eva commanded, her voice ringing with an authority that left no room for dissent. "Maximum warp. Engage stealth protocols until we're within weapons range. Target their command ships first. We're not here to play defense. We're here to unleash hell." Jensen nodded, her fingers flying across the console. "Course laid in, Captain. Engaging warp drive." A low hum filled the bridge, rising in pitch as the ironclad asterisk surged forward, leaving the relative safety of human-controlled space behind. Eva watched the stars stretch into streaks, her pale eyes alight with a cold, terrifying purpose. The Deathworlders had received their distress call, and they were bringing death with them. The Xylos swarms parted like a tide before a leviathan. Not because of any weapon fire, but because the asterisk ironclad asterisk, simply asterisk, appeared asterisk. No warning, no energy signature buildup, just a sudden, brutal manifestation of a colossal warship in the heart of their formation. Silence, a rare and terrifying thing in a pitched battle, fell over the Cthulhu bridge. Villar, his oculars wide, stared at the main display. What is that? Rika stammered, his tendrils stiff with a mix of awe and terror. The Axilos, for all their mindless ferocity, had scattered. Their concentrated assault on the asterisk vigilant asterisk had abruptly ceased. On the screen, the human warship was a hulking, angular monstrosity, devoid of the graceful curves common in Cthulhu design. It was a weapon made manifest, every inch of its hull screaming lethal intent. It's the Deathworlders, Enther breathed, his voice barely audible. They came. As if on cue, the asterisk ironclad asterisk moved. Not with the frantic, evasive maneuvers of a vessel under fire, but with the ponderous, unstoppable momentum of a predatory beast. Its forward weapon emplacements, previously dormant, glowed with an internal, searing light. They're targeting the Silos command ships. Rika shouted, his voice cracking with disbelief. Not the swarms. The command ships. A terrible beauty unfolded before them. The asterisk ironclad asterisk unleashed a torrent of energy. Not the scattered, defensive bursts of the Cthulhu, but focused, surgical strikes. Lance beams of pure, incandescent plasma lanced out, punching through the Xylos' armored hulls as if they were tissue paper. Explosions blossomed with a silent, terrifying finality. Entire Xylos command vessels, kilometers long, simply ceased to exist, replaced by expanding clouds of superheated gas and debris. Villar felt a cold dread intertwine with a burgeoning, desperate hope. This wasn't battle as the Cthulhu knew it. This was an execution. They're not communicating, Enther reported, his tendrils still twitching. No hails, no demands. Just destruction. That's how they operate, Enther, Villar said, his voice strained. They don't negotiate with pests. They eradicate them. He watched as another Xylos cruiser imploded, its debris scattering harmlessly. The human ship, impossibly fast for its size, pivoted, bringing its broadsides to bear on the next cluster of enemy vessels. The Xylos are disengaging. Rika screamed, pointing at the main display. They're fleeing. They're breaking formation. It was true. The relentless Xylos swarm, which had minutes ago seemed an unstoppable tide of destruction, was now a chaotic, panicked rout. Their unified purpose broken, individual ships veered wildly, desperate to escape the relentless, silent hunter in their midst. Commander, Enther said, his voice trembling with a new emotion. Fear. The asterisk ironclad asterisk. It's moving towards the asterisk refugee asterisk. Villar's 4 lower oculars narrowed. Was this salvation or something else? The humans were known for their unconventional methods, for their indifference to collateral damage when a greater objective was at stake. The asterisk ironclad asterisk was positioning itself between the fleeing Xylos and the still crippled asterisk refugee asterisk. It was a shield, but also an implicit threat. The Cthulhu were saved for now. But by whom and at what price? The air on the asterisk vigilance asterisk bridge, moments ago thick with despair, was now heavy with an entirely different kind of tension. They had called for death, and death had answered. But whose death, ultimately, would it be? A stark silence descended on the asterisk ironclad's asterisk bridge, broken only by the hum of the active stealth fields and the distant, fading screams of the Tylos on the external sensors. Eva stood before the main tactical display, watching the last few Xylos vessels scatter like dust. Her lips were a thin, grim line. All Xylos forces in this sector eliminated or in full retreat. Jensen reported, her voice steady. Casualties. 0 for the asterisk ironclad asterisk. There asterisk vigilant asterisk heavily damaged but holding. There asterisk refugee asterisk still crippled, but no longer under attack. Valerius stepped forward, his gaze fixed on the Kither vessels. They're trying to hail us, Captain. Multiple frequencies. Eva ignored the buzzing comms. She looked at the Kither flagship, the asterisk vigilant asterisk. Its shields were sparking, its hull visibly torn. It was a dying beast, but it had stood its ground. And then she looked at the asterisk refugee asterisk, drifting helplessly. A vessel filled with the vulnerable. They're terrified. Valerius, Eva finally said, her voice low. Of us, and of the Xylos. The Kither are caught between two fires. A position of their own making, Captain, Valerius countered, his tone devoid of sympathy. Their pacifism has almost cost them their species. They've proven incapable of self-defense. Eva turned, her pale eyes piercing. And we've proven capable of something far worse. Unchecked, Valerius, our power is a liability. We fight to survive. We don't fight for the sake of it. She walked towards the comm station. Open a channel to the asterisk vigilant asterisk, she commanded, her voice suddenly crisp. Primary frequency. Visual only. No audio from them until I authorize it. Enther's face, etched with a mixture of fear and profound relief, flickered onto a secondary screen on the asterisk ironclad's asterisk bridge. Behind him, Valar's 6 oculars, now wide with apprehension, peered out from the gloom of his damaged bridge. The Kither commander looked utterly spent. Eva's image, projected directly onto the asterisk vigilance asterisk bridge, was a striking contrast to their disarray. Her uniform was immaculate, her posture ramrod straight. Her expression was unyielding cold. Commander Valar, Eva's voice boomed through the Kither bridge, clear and sharp. This is Captain Eva Rostova of the Human Systems Alliance warship asterisk ironclad asterisk. You broadcast a distress call, we answered. Valar's mandibles worked, a soundless attempt to speak, but no words came. The asterisk ironclad asterisk was utterly silent, a silent, unblinking eye on their suffering. Your species is at the brink, Eva continued, her voice devoid of warmth, a statement of fact rather than pity. Your fleet is broken. Your people are vulnerable. The Xylos will return. They always do. She paused, letting her words sink in. Her gaze swept over the Kither officers, conveying a silent, potent message. Asterisk, this is what weakness looks like asterisk. We saved your people today, Valar, Eva stated, her voice hardening. But salvation comes with a price. We will not be your shield forever. You will stand with us, or you will fall alone. Valar finally managed to speak, his voice a raspy whisper that barely carried through the channel. Captain Rostova, we are grateful. But what do you ask? Eva's eyes narrowed, a hint of steel entering their pale depths. We ask for your commitment, Commander. Your resources. Your strategic data on the Xylos. And your acknowledgement that the Galactic Order, as you knew it, is dead. From this moment forward, the galaxy changes, and humanity will be its forge. She cut the visual feed, plunging the asterisk vigilance asterisk bridge back into the dim glow of emergency lights. The silence on the asterisk ironclad's asterisk bridge was absolute. They'll refuse, Valerius stated, breaking the quiet. They'll cling to their neutrality. They're too accustomed to living in the shadows of others' strength. Eva turned from the comm station, her gaze sweeping over her crew. Then they will learn. One way or another. She walked back to her command chair, her strides deliberate, unhurried. Prepare a medical team and an engineering team. Dispatch them to the asterisk refugee asterisk. Render assistance. But make sure they understand. This is not charity. This is an investment. Weeks turned into a tense, Uneasy truce. The asterisk ironclad asterisk remained in the Cathar system, a silent, unblinking guardian. Its presence was a constant, stark reminder of both salvation and subjugation. On the asterisk vigilant asterisk, repairs were slow, morale lower. Viller moved through the damaged corridors, a phantom of his former self. His people were alive, but the cost felt immeasurable. He stood before the holoprojector in his personal quarters, the image of High Counselor Thorell flickering before him. Thorell's tendrils, usually a vibrant green, were muted with stress. Commander Villar, your reports are disturbing. Thorell's voice crackled, filled with a rigid disapproval. Direct contact with the Deathworlders, allowing them unfettered access to our data. This borders on treason. Treason. Villar's voice was a raw, guttural sound. High Counselor, our people were moments from extinction. The exilos were at our throats, and where was the council then? Debating neutrality? Preparing another carefully worded diplomatic plea that would have been ignored. We value peace, Villar, Thorell retorted, his voice rising in indignation. Our entire civilization is built on non-aggression. And it almost crumbled to dust because of it. Viller slammed a fist against the console beside him. The humans, Captain Rostova, they don't care for our philosophy. They care for results. They eradicated the exilos in minutes, Counselor. Minutes. While we bled for cycles. Their methods are brutal, Thorell said, a shudder passing through his form. They are a plague, Viller, a violent, unpredictable force. They are the only force that stood between our children and the void. Viller countered, his voice thick with emotion. They demand our cooperation, our data, our strategic alignment against the Tylos. They call it investment. They believe that Tylos will return stronger, and they intend to be ready. And you believe them? Thorell asked, a note of incredulity in his voice. I believe what my own oculars saw, Viller said, his voice flat. I saw their ship move with the precision of a predator, their weapons tear through Actylos hulls like paper. I saw that Tylos, who have never known fear, turn and flee from them. He paused, then continued, his voice dropping to a low, intense whisper. And I saw Captain Rostova. There is no doubt in her. Only purpose. Thorell was silent for a long moment, the image of his face a mask of internal conflict. This is a path we have always avoided, Viller, to align with such barbarians. High Counselor, the Axilos don't care about our sensibilities, Villar pleaded, desperation creeping into his tone. They are a biological imperative, a hungry maw. If we do not fight, truly fight, we will be consumed, and the humans are the only ones capable of teaching us how. What exactly are their demands? Thorell finally asked, his voice subdued, a hint of resignation in it. Viller relayed Rostova's terms, the raw, unapologetic demands for resources, intelligence, and a fundamental shift in Cathar policy. Thorell listened, his form wilting with each new condition. This is annexation. Villar, Thorell whispered. A conquest, not an alliance. It is survival, Counselor, Villar corrected, his voice hardening. We are a broken people. They are offering us the tools to rebuild, to defend ourselves. But they will not do it for free. They expect us to become like them. Or perish. The image of Thorell flickered and faded, the connection severed. Villar stood alone in the dim room, the silence pressing in around him. He had laid out the truth. Now, the fate of the Cathar rested with a council unwilling to accept the harsh realities of a galaxy that no longer valued peace above all else. He looked out his viewport at the distant, silent sentinel of the asterisk ironclad asterisk. It was waiting, and Viller knew, with a certainty that chilled him to his core, that it would not wait forever. Days later, the asterisk ironclad's asterisk bridge hummed with a different kind of tension. Not the frantic energy of battle, but the rigid discipline of anticipation. Eva stood by the main view screen, observing the Cthair system. No Xylos had dared approach since the Asterisk Ironclad's Asterisk arrival. The silence of the void was unnerving. Still no official response from the Cthair High Council, Captain, Valerius stated, his voice flat. Their internal communications are in an uproar. Protests, debates, calls for a return to traditional values. He emphasized the last words with a cynical twist. Eva simply watched the distant Cthair homeworld. They're dying, Valerius, and they're still debating. Her voice held a note of weary contempt. They choose oblivion over facing a harsh truth. Jensen's console chirped, a soft, insistent tone. Captain, a Priority 1 comms request. From the Asterisk Vigilant Asterisk, Commander Villar. Eva turned, a flicker of something unreadable in her pale eyes. Put him through. Audio only. Villar's voice, when it came, was strained, edged with a profound weariness. Captain Rostova, the High Council, they remain divided. The traditionalists refuse to acknowledge the gravity of our situation. They cling to the old ways. And you, Commander. Eva's voice was sharp, cutting through Villar's hesitation. Where do you stand? A long pause stretched between them, filled only by the low hum of the Asterisk Ironclad's Asterisk systems. Then, Villar's voice, though still weary, gained a steel that hadn't been there before. My people are dying, Captain. I have seen that silos devour worlds. I have seen the helplessness of our fleet. And I have seen what your species is capable of. A choice, Commander, Eva prodded, her voice a low growl. Survival or philosophy? We cannot abandon our values entirely, Villar pleaded, a raw desperation in his tone. Centuries of peace. It is who we are. Peace is a luxury for the strong, Villar, Eva countered, her voice cold and unyielding. The Xylos don't care for your values. They care for biomass. Your peace has made you a feast. Another silence. Then, a shuddering breath from Villar. There are factions, Captain. Within the military, within the civilian population. Those who saw what you did. Those who understand the necessity. Eva's lips curved into a faint, grim smile. Necessity. A word the Cthair are finally learning. We will not align with you officially. Villar continued, his voice barely above a whisper. The Council will never sanction it. But there are those of us who will provide you with the information you require. Strategic data. Xylos vulnerabilities we have observed. Resources that can be reallocated. Eva's eyes gleamed. A back channel. A desperate, treasonous act born of ultimate necessity. It was exactly what she had hoped for. You understand the risks, Commander, Eva said, her voice dropping to a near whisper. If the Council discovers this, there will be consequences. Consequences for collaboration or consequences for extinction. Villar's voice was brittle. We make our choice, Captain. Those of us who still have the will to fight. Could, Eva said, the single word resonating with a quiet power. Prepare your data packets, Commander. We will open a secure channel. And prepare your people, Villar. The Xylos will return. And this time, we will not just drive them back. We will break them. She cut the connection. The bridge was still. Valerius met her gaze, a silent acknowledgement of the shift in dynamics. They've chosen, he said, a hint of respect in his voice for the Cthair commander. They'd chosen to survive, Eva corrected, her eyes fixed on the distant Cthair homeworld. A hard lesson, but one they'll never forget. That Xylos returned, as Eva had predicted. Not a scattered exploratory force, but a coordinated, vengeful armada. Their chidinous ships blotted out distant stars, a terrifying tide of destruction intent on finishing what they had started. But this time, they met a different galaxy. On the bridge of the asterisk vigilant asterisk, now fully repaired and humming with a grim determination, Villar watched the approaching enemy. His oculars were no longer dim with despair, but alight with a fierce, cold resolve. Human engineers had not just mended their ship, they had fundamentally re-engineered it. Their energy conduits, once prone to catastrophic failure, now pulsed with a focused intensity. Their defensive shields, previously of fragile membrane, held a density that defied Attilos plasma fire. Captain Rostova is hailing, Commander, Enther reported, his voice steady, devoid of the panic that had once plagued him. Villar nodded. Patch her through. Eva's face appeared on the secondary screen, her expression as unyielding as ever. Villar, your people are prepared. As prepared as we can be, Captain, Villar replied, his voice firm. Your modifications to our fleet have been integrated. Our crews are trained. The data you provided on Axilos' attack patterns has been invaluable. Good, Eva said, a rare, almost imperceptible nod. Remember the strategy. Focus fire. Target their command nodes. Break their hive mind. And do not, under any circumstances, engage their main swarms individually. Let them come to us. The asterisk ironclad asterisk had positioned itself at the strategic heart of the Cthulhu defense line, a silent, deadly fulcrum around which the revitalized Cthulhu fleet now arrayed itself. It was an audacious plan, one that went against every Cthulhu tactical doctrine. But it was a human plan, forged in centuries of brutal, effective warfare. The first wave of Ilos ships slammed into the Cthulhu lines. The asterisk vigilant asterisk shuddered under the impact, but its enhanced shields held. Lances of Cthulhu plasma, guided by human-derived targeting algorithms, pierced Axilos armor with unprecedented efficiency. Explosions erupted across the void, turning the blackness into a canvas of fleeting, terrible beauty. They're confused. Rickard yelled, his tendrils twitching with excitement, not fear. They're breaking formation on the southern flank. Our targeting systems are overwhelming their sub-commanders. Maintain pressure. Villar roared, his voice filled with a power he hadn't known he possessed. He watched the main display, where the Thylos, for the first time in his memory, were reacting with genuine disarray. Their relentless, mindless advance was faltering. Then, the asterisk ironclad asterisk moved. With a sudden burst of power, it surged forward, a spearhead piercing the very heart of the Attilos armada. Its main weapons, previously silent, unleashed a storm of raw, destructive energy. Entire Axilos dreadnoughts, which had shrugged off Cthulhu fire, disintegrated under the relentless human assault. It wasn't a battle. It was a demonstration. Eva's voice, calm amidst the maelstrom, cut through the comms. Now, Villar, flank them. Drive them into the void. Show them what true defiance looks like. Villar didn't hesitate. All ships, offensive maneuvers. Drive that Tylos from our system. For the Cthulhu. The Cthulhu fleet surged forward, no longer a desperate defense, but a unified, aggressive force. They moved with a newfound savagery, a brutal efficiency born of human tutelage. The Axilos, caught between the relentless advance of the Cthulhu and the terrifying, silent destruction wrought by the asterisk ironclad asterisk, began to break. Their once unified swarm dissolved into a panicked, fragmented retreat. Villar watched, a surge of triumph, cold and hard, filling him. They were fighting, truly fighting. And they were winning. Not just surviving, but dominating. The Deathworlders had shown them how. The silence that followed that tireless retreat was absolute, broken only by the distant, mournful wail of derelict hull breaches. No alarms, no frantic commands. Just the hum of fully operational systems on the asterisk vigilant asterisk. The main view screen showed the Cthulhu system, now littered with the debris of the Tylos fleet, a testament to the brutal efficacy of their newfound allies. Villar stood on his bridge, his multifaceted oculars scanning the faces of his crew. Urka was slumped over his console, exhausted but triumphant. And Ther was meticulously logging battle data, his tendrils no longer trembling with fear, but with a focused energy. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and the subtle, metallic tang of victory. Commander Villar, Eva's voice cut through the quiet, clear and resonant through the main comms. Her image filled the *Vigilance* bridge, her expression unreadable as always. The Xylos are shattered. No significant threats remain in your system. Our mission here is concluded. A wave of complex emotions washed over Villar, relief, gratitude, a nascent pride, and a chilling apprehension. Captain Rostova, we are indebted to you. You have saved our people. Eva's pale eyes seemed to bore into him. Indebtedness has consequences, Villar. We spoke of investment, of a changed galaxy. Villar felt a tremor run through him, a premonition of the true price of their salvation. We understand, Captain. Our cooperation will be absolute. We will uphold our end of the bargain. Good, Eva said, her voice devoid of warmth. The High Council has been informed. Their initial protests have been noted. Their continued existence relies on their understanding of the new reality. She paused, her gaze sweeping over the Kether bridge crew, a silent judgment. The Kether are no longer a neutral species. You have chosen a side. You have chosen to fight. And you have learned, through blood and fire, that true peace is forged, not given. Villar nodded, his mandibles set. He remembered the desperate pleas, the agonizing debates, the weakness that had almost consumed them. Now, there was only the cold, hard certainty of what they had become. We are changed, Captain, Villar admitted, his voice a low, gravelly sound. Permanently. Indeed, Eva replied, a hint of something that might have been grim satisfaction in her tone. The galaxy will see what happens when a species refuses to die. The Xylos were merely the crucible. You are now part of something greater. Something more demanding. She looked directly at Villar, her eyes piercing. Your people will contribute to the ongoing eradication of the Xylos blight. Your resources, your scientific expertise, your newfound martial capabilities, all will be directed towards that purpose. We will not allow another such infestation to threaten galactic stability. Villar felt the weight of her words, the crushing finality of their new destiny. They were no longer philosophers, no longer mere builders. They were soldiers in a human war, instruments in a human design for a new galactic order. Understood, Captain, Villar said, the words heavy with a new kind of resignation. We are ready to serve. Eva's lips curved into a faint, almost imperceptible smile. Excellent. The ironclad asterisk will depart your system now. A liaison team will remain to oversee the integration of your defenses and to coordinate future operations. Expect their arrival shortly. The main comm screen went blank. The ironclad asterisk, a silent, dark silhouette against the distant stars, slowly began to turn, its engines flaring as it prepared for warp. It was leaving, but its influence remained, a shadow stretching across the Kether system. Villar looked at his crew, at the hardened resolve in their oculars, the newfound strength in their posture. They had been saved. But they had also been fundamentally remade. The distress call had reached the Deathworlders. And they had dispatched not just death to their enemies, but a transformation to their saviors. The Kether were no longer the peaceful Kether. They were something else now, something forged in fire, ready to become another, brutal, piece of the human war machine.